Texans versus Titans, Saturday. Betting line is at 5. We wondered what was going on. Is it possible that we might see Malik Willis again? It looks like that's the case. Paul Kaharski, as connected as anyone out there in Tennessee, he says very likely that Ryan Tannehill is going to be out for the season. So that might explain why the betting line started at 7. Then it went down to 6. Now it's down to 5. Hell, it might have even gone further down with the news today. Very, very weird feel around this game for many, many reasons. I'm looking at this betting line right now. Welcome to the channel, by the way. It is The Locker Room. I'm Landry Locker, Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app, home of the Houston Texans. You can follow me on Twitter at Landry Locker. Follow me on Instagram at Landry Locker. The best daily coverage that you can possibly get. And just like that, betting line down to 3. So it is a 3-point spread between the Texans and Tennessee Titans. The Malik Willis Tennessee Titans versus the Davis Mills / maybe Jeff Driscoll Houston Texans. You know where I sit on this. I think the Texans need to lose. Getting the number 1 overall pick, regardless of what you think they should or shouldn't do with that, is number 1 priority for me. And I think it should be number 1 priority for anyone that wants what's in the best interest of this team moving forward. Lovie Smith and the guys in that locker room, they want to win. So they're going to go out there and they're going to try to win. And if Chicago doesn't win another game this year, and they got Buffalo this week, then the Houston Texans, if they win 2 of their final 3, they would have the number 2 pick, which would be a disaster. That would be the worst case scenario for anything. Because even if Chicago's not going to take a quarterback, Chicago could trade the pick. And you want first dibs. You want to be at the top of the draft. So that would be a disaster. It's already been somewhat of a disappointing season, depending on how you look at it. If that happened, it would be a disaster. Lovie Smith said today, Tennessee's playing for a lot. We're playing for a lot. What exactly? What are they playing for? They have this imaginary 3-game season. Not really playing for much. Now Brandon Cooks is suddenly practicing. He's doing more. It looks like he might come back. It's going to be 5 degrees in Tennessee. Malik Collins is going to be playing in this game. He wasn't in the last one. So winning really doesn't accomplish anything for the Texans here. And I know there's some hardos that'll say, well, you got to win. That's a loser's mentality. Cool. This is a losing football team. It's been a losing organization. In the NFL, when you're at the bottom of the league, you get rewarded for losing. This isn't the NBA where the 3 worst teams all have the same odds to get the number 1 pick. You get rewarded for losing. What's the reward for winning for the Texans? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this game's starting to have a really weird feel, to the point where it's not the exact same as last year's Titans game, where the Texans ended up pulling that one off. Although that was a real fluky game, that was weird. AJ Brown, I remember he ended up getting injured. There was the muff punt that just hit the guy's foot. Then Tannehill threw some interceptions. I think he threw one to Desmond King, and that's what I did, if I'm not mistaken. That was a fluky game. This one seems fluky, but the signs of flukiness are right in front of us, like right now. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, because I think there's a chance the Texans beat the Colts at the end of the year. I don't think they're going to beat Jacksonville with how Jacksonville's playing right now, but the Jags can't beat the Texans. It's just kind of the way things are. I'm starting to fear that the Texans lose the number 1 pick. And I think that would be a disaster. Just what for? I mean, that would be why we couldn't have nice things. And then if I'm Chicago, given the fact that you like what you've seen from Justin Fields, if I'm Chicago, maybe you want to take Will Anderson, maybe you want to take Carter, but someone's going to fall in love with Bryce Young or Will Levis, and then you trade back because you don't need the quarterback. That's the luxury Chicago has. We're looking forward to this offseason. It's going to be the most exciting offseason, I think, in the history of the organization. Probably going to have another coaching search. Should have the number 1 pick. Although that looks weird right now. And we don't know what's going to happen with Caserio, et cetera. So there's all types of stuff going on, but it just feels really, really weird. And it's going to be cold as hell in Tennessee. I mean, wouldn't it be something if Brandon Cooks comes back? Think about this. Brandon Cooks quit on the team. I mean, he quit. He wanted out, and he started throwing a hissy fit, and he started throwing the organization under the bus, and he quit on the team. Wouldn't it be a mofo if Brandon Cooks comes back Saturday, balls out like he's capable of doing, and then balls out for the final 3 games of the season, and Brandon freaking Cooks, who quit on the team, is a reason why the Houston Texans don't get the number 1 pick? Good Lord. It could happen, though. Could very much happen. I put in the Loopholes Facebook page, the official Loopholes 610 Facebook page, up the link to this, just asking for some comments. Couple of people had some questions. Chris Carbonneau, I believe, what to do with the second first-round pick? Offense, defense, skill position, trenches. The second first-round pick is going to be very interesting because it kind of depends on where it's at. If it's near the top 10, probably take the best receiver that you can get. If it's 15, 16, something like that, then you're going to have all kinds of options. But with the way the receivers are in this year's draft, I don't know if any of them are going to warrant top 10 selections. I'm intrigued to hear what people got to say about Addison out of USC. Smith and Jigba really hasn't played much this year. And then what is Quentin Johnston going to run? But those are the guys that you hear the most about in the first round. And then there might be some second round guys. But there's a chance, like if the Texans are in that 10, 11, 12 range in this year's draft, unlike last year's, you might be able to get the best receiver available. And if you're going to go quarterback at the top of the draft, I think that's a good way to go. I'm not saying this just because I'm a Texas guy, but if you're in the 12 to 16 range and Bijan Robinson's there, I think you got to do it. You can play him in the slot. You can put him and Dameon Pierce as your 1A, 1B. I'm assuming in free agency, you're going to address the offensive line interior, but you really only got to address 2 spots. And that's guard and center, because Kenyon Green's most likely going to be your starting guard. Like he's going to be one of your starting guards. So if you can get Bijan Robinson, you can have Dameon Pierce going too. I would do it. I would just go all in on the offense. If you don't want to take a running back there, I just don't think Pierce is going to be able to carry, the ball 20 times a game forever. I think you got to, if you want to maximize what Pierce is, you got to get another back here. In the top of that second round, if Gibbs falls to the second round or A-Chain or something like that, figure that out. And then people are bringing up that maybe you could trade down and get creative. That's possible. Brian says, sell the team to the Peyton Manning group, hire Sean Payton, blah, blah, blah. He's kind of dreaming. Scott Roberts says he's worried about Bryce Young after Kyler Murray flame out. I don't see the connection between Kyler Murray and Bryce Young. A lot of Kyler Murray's flame out was outside of the torn ACL, which had nothing really to do with size. That was a non-contact injury. Kyler Murray's got a different makeup than Bryce Young. You know, I think Kyler kind of rubbed a lot of players the wrong way. You heard Patrick Peterson say what he said. You've heard the Nuke Hopkins thing. I just don't think those guys are very similar when it comes to what went down with that. A lot of guys talking about what to do in the draft. We got plenty of time to talk about that. Someone's talking about Brandon Cook's latest Instagram post. I don't really follow Brandon Cooks on Instagram, but I haven't seen what Brandon Cooks had to say on Instagram. I'll check it right now. Let's see. Oh, nothing I can't overcome coming out of the tunnel with the Texans. Yeah. Okay. So maybe he's talking about his injury, which many people believe was a serious injury, which is fine. I just think it would be a mofo if someone, kind of quits on the team and then comes back and does what he does. So look, I know I don't encourage it. When you get in the moment, you start kind of feeling, can they win this game? This is a game that the Texans, if they can lose this game, then that's a good thing. And then I don't think they beat Jacksonville, and then you can be rooting for a win over the Indianapolis Colts at the end of the season or something like that. I just think it would be an absolute disaster if you got to this point. And again, I don't expect the players to think like me. So, you always, I'm talking about what I would like to happen. That's in the best interest. I don't think Nick Caserio, Lovie Smith, or any of them can go up to players and say, hey, we got to lose. They're going to try to win. I think the last 2 weeks have been the perfect result where they look good. You see a lot of the young guys looking good. You see a lot of the depth guys that you could potentially bring back look good. I think that's the ideal scenario. And then they lose. So they're going to try to win. I just think it's in the best interest for them to lose, but things are getting so weird right now where it just feels like this is shaping up for a win. The betting line's telling you everything you need to know, and they just seem to have some momentum and they're playing pretty well right now. So weird shit is happening. And quite frankly, I do not like it. I don't think my dog likes it either. Michael says we'll beat the Titans for win number 2. Then we take a dive in the last 2 games. I don't know if they're going to take a dive. I don't know if they have to take a dive with Jacksonville with the way they're playing. The Colts, who knows what the Colts are doing? They just benched Matt Ryan again, and they got Nick Foles going. James, Texans beat the Jaguars because nothing makes sense. Maybe Henry can run for 500. I don't care. The Texans need to take this L. Absolutely no doubt. Trade down the second round pick. I like you're rocking the Oiler hat. Yeah, my a listener of mine gave me a couple Oiler hats, originals. Very, very nice of him, my boy. He brought them to camp. I think I won't say his name. I don't want to say his name if you don't want to say he gave me these hats. But yeah, they're legit hat. Wish I could go back in time and buy these. What were these, like 14 when they came out? Now you could probably sell these for who knows how much. Man, just don't make them like they used to. I like that Lovie Smith hat that he was rocking on Sunday. $45 though, pretty hefty. But the Texans Pro Shop's been on fire lately, so check that out. Stuff's getting weird. We'll get more into this. I'm going to talk to Texans cap tonight. Hopefully he's in a good mood. He's been depressing lately, man, with some of his, he needs, I tell him this all the time, man. I know a lot of people dedicate some time. I'm always thankful to people who listen to me from 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610, the Odyssey app, and then coming here. Man, Cap, man, sometimes it just seems like he'd rather be sleeping or something like that than doing this. He's got to get his attitude up a little bit. Cody Stutes too. He has a YouTube channel. Check that out. Cody Stutes is putting out some really good content. There's Cap right there, right on cue. Yeah, geez, good night. He's been grumpy the last couple of weeks, man. We got to get Cap ready, man. Goodness gracious, pressing, man. Tonight at 9, but we'll have that going. Keep subscribing, keep it going. Hopefully we get a loss. I'm starting to feel like it's going to be a win now. And that's really all I got. Weird times around here. No matter what does happen, win, lose, always remember we are in this together. Have a good one, folks.